Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live, our watch party on night number 1 of the Big Dance. This is your daily sports betting show of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine. I am the coach. Just got done doing a little Valspar Championship round number 1, but we are shifting our focus to a quite an entertaining first half of day 1. Now, if you're a dog-eat-dog bettor, it's been a rough first start for you. The first 4-0 favorites winning and covering the spread. Today, 7-1 favorites winning and covering the spread. That's 11-1 so far to start. Favorites winning the game and covering the spread. Let's bring in the stars of the show because we got a lot to discuss tonight. We got a lot of best bets to get to. You saw them earlier today right here on the afternoon version. They're right back here tonight. First and foremost, live from Nashville, Tennessee, M Squared. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. Good to have you back. AB, J Smooth. What's up, guys? Loving March Madness. Not only is it March Madness, I just tweeted about it. I got tennis on too, man. We got Nadal and Kyrgios, just electric match. It's such a great day up here.
It's a great day for you. You're 2-0 on the show. AB, I saw you with a bunch of Longwood gear on social media, and then they went out and got stomped by Tennessee today.
Got smoked, right? Like that plus 17 on my part. Woo! That was rough. But, yeah, Longwood, shout out to them. Best social team in the game out there. So, yeah, got to give a lot of love to Longwood there. But, yeah, Tennessee was unconscious. I mean, they just literally just would not miss from 3. It was nuts.
Apparently, they were really upset that they didn't get that 2 seed because that's such a big storyline that everybody blew up for no freaking reason. Just wear a different jersey. It doesn't matter. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show the dogs did not perform today. Jay Smooth.
Yeah, man, it's been a bad day out here for the dogs, and you know I love my dogs, Coach. I mean, I'm going to take those points. It's been rough, but we're going to stick with it. You know, the dogs should come back around. Things should normalize. It's been a couple rough breaks. I mean, I don't know. At least we got we got Richmond on the site, so just going to keep going. I got one more coming though. We're not going to take our foot off the gas. That's for sure.
Okay, we will recap in a second, but we know that the next game starts at 6:50 Eastern time. By the way, we're still sweating this Gonzaga game, by the way. It's 90-67. What's the number, 22.5?
That's what I have, yeah.
Oh, right now it's at 23 with 2:22 to go, and all the starters are out of the game. All the starters are out of the game. This is going to be a sweat in the final 2.5 minutes for my man, Jay Smooth. All right, before we get to today, let's get through our best bets for tonight. And, Mikey, you're good. Michigan, Providence, -2. You're 2-0. Jay Smooth, I know you got one play tonight. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add Creighton to that list. I'm going to take them against that San Diego State team. It's going to be interesting. I don't know which conference is looking worse right now, whether it is the Big East with how terribly Marquette looked. Oh, my gosh. AB killed me on that showdown. Props for a good UNC bet. Terrible. I mean, all the gross. So many second chance points. But the Mountain West, another huge disappointment today. We saw Boise State. We saw Colorado State both go down in disappointing fashion. We saw Wyoming couldn't get it done either. So I'm not sure if that's really going to continue, or maybe San Diego State is the one. But I'm going to go ahead and take the points on Creighton. I thought they looked pretty good. They got to the final against Villanova in that in the Big East tournament. So I think they keep it close.
Does anybody have the jeweler's phone number?
Why would that be, Mikey? Why would
you interrupt? Hit the music because Jay Smooth is going 0-3 on these showdowns. I like San Diego State tonight. -3.6 in my simulations. You want the 2? I will lay the 2, and I will show you that not every Mountain West team is going to get beat.
I need the 2.5, Mikey. I need the 2.5.
Okay, that's a negotiation. 2.5, Mikey?
It's widely available at 2 right now, but you are having a rough day, so we'll make it.
I need it, buddy.
Wow, he's throwing charity your way, Jay Smooth. That is.
I played the line early. You know, you got to get those early lines. That's what we talk about.
Yeah, but the showdown is when you make the bet, not when you put it in 3 days ago.
All right,
that's not what a showdown is.
I'll take the push at 2. That's fine.
It goes at 2.
If Mike really needs it,
if Mike needs
it, that's fine. I get it.
Don't flip this around on him. Don't flip this around. Mikey, is this not how a showdown works?
It's -2 in the market. We made the showdown right now. Sure. If you had -2.5, I assume it would have been on the sheet this morning from the earlier when we gave all our picks. So
Thank you. Hell, I could give out numbers for Monday, Mikey.
It's on the site. It made the site. So
I could give out picks on Monday and then have a showdown on Thursday and get 2 or 3 points when it moved. That's not how it works.
No, you're right.
So
You're
the
right.
number's
You're
2.
right.
The number's 2.
Let's go.
We got to move on.
No, it's
Number's
fine.
2. Creighton J. Smooth. Mikey is going to cash another one. By the way, Mikey, I'm on a showdown with Sia in golf. Sam Burns over Shane Lowry. I'm only at 5 after the first round. It's okay. It's okay. This is just how we do it. It's just how we do it. Okay, so you're on Creighton, J. Smooth. Now, AB. Longwood doesn't hit, but I think you're on a late game tonight that it's been kind of a real feel-good story this year. Who are we talking about?
Yep. So we're going to play Arkansas -5. Now, look, we played this earlier in the week. The number is actually sitting now at 4.5 Arkansas. There's been some money that's come in on Vermont, and rightfully so. Look, if you're looking for a fun, good basketball game tonight, Vermont, Arkansas is going to be your game. Vermont has 4 seniors on their roster. They've been to the tournament before. They're a small school, but they don't play like a small school, right? Like, respect to them. However, Arkansas got bounced from the SEC tournament, and you spoke about Tennessee being upset about their seeding. Arkansas is going to be upset about getting bounced that early, and they're bringing in studs, horses from the SEC, and they are ready to roll. So we're going to go Arkansas -5 tonight.
All right, that game is tentatively scheduled to start at 9:20 Eastern time on TNT. The total, if you're interested, 139. We'll break that game down in just a second. All right, so AB's good. Jay Smooth is giving his. I'll go ahead and give you Zach and Chips and Micah's plays. So Zach is on St. Mary's -3. They've been a really good story coming out west. They actually beat Gonzaga this year. Gonzaga kind of sleptwalked through that game, but they did beat them. They've got skills, and they're laying 3 tonight. That game is against Indiana. This scares me. This scares me because Indiana are going to play on Tuesday. They look pretty good in the play-in game. By the way, Gonzaga, it's 93-70. Okay, 26 seconds to go. It was just 93-67. They hit a 3. Gonzaga comes down. Instead of holding the ball, they shoot. They didn't need to shoot. The backup shoot. They foul. Georgia State is now 93-71, and Georgia State is going to cover.
Wow.
Oh, no.
The one dog.
Wow. The one dog that's going to – the second dog is – Richmond was a dog. 93-7. That hurts. That's a bad beat right there. Holy cow. But Gonzaga's going to win, and they're going to advance.
Wow.
Just for a second, public service announcement. For all you people out there that love to criticize when people lose games, we have over 2,000 brackets picked out. Only 14 are still perfect. And that's just picking winners of the game, not against the spread. This is hard to do. So enough with the hate and the tweets. This is a hard thing to do. It really, really is. So Gonzaga moves on. They don't cover the spread. So now it is 11-2 favorites winning the game. 11-2 against the spread. That stinks. That really stinks. Okay, back to Chip Patterson. He's on Murray State tonight, -1 over San Francisco. That is a 9:40 game on CBS. And then he's also on Indiana plus a 2 or 3, depending on where you get that number. And then Micah. This is a game I absolutely love, guys. St. Peter's plus the 18 against a very up-and-down Kentucky team. And let me come to you real quick, Mikey, because St. Peter's won their conference tournament. They looked great down the stretch. This seems like a big number for a team that's at least played pretty good in their own conference.
Yeah, it's a big number for a team that's played well in their conference. It's so difficult to project these matchups, and you kind of see it here with Gonzaga at the end of the game, right? There's no real incentive. Once you're ahead comfortably by double digits, there's no incentive to keep going, knowing that you're playing again on Saturday at this point. So I typically tend to shy away from these unless I have just like a huge, huge edge on those. And this is one where I don't, but if you force me to play it, I would take the points with the dog. But we've seen a lot of big favorites covering today other than Gonzaga. They just had such a slow start, or else they would have won this game probably by 45 points.
Yeah, they missed like 11 free throws or something in the first half. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, they were only up 2 at halftime. AB, what do you got?
Yeah, speaking about this game, Kentucky, for most books, this is going to be their biggest liability tonight, is going to be on Kentucky.
Really?
It's Kentucky. Yeah, it's like betting Alabama, right? Like the public loves betting Kentucky. You could put Kentucky playing on the moon -1,000, and people are going to find it and bet Kentucky, right? So you're going to see a ton of people on social media tonight rooting on the Kentucky Wildcats. So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, that game is the second game tonight, 7:10 Eastern on CBS. The winner faces Murray State or San Francisco. One other game, Micah is on St. Mary's on the money line. By the way, I believe he's going to hit. I've got to look at the score. He's on the North Carolina over, and they've hit that. They're at 158 with 45 seconds to go. Marquette putting up quite the fight, only down 32 now.
Nice little reverse sweep for me. Like those are all X's, bro. That is bad. Man. I'm glad I was like at least kind of hot coming in, bro. Because that is just.
Hey, but that's only 5 games. That's only 5. It's only 5.
Yeah, we got more.
We got a lot of games to get back. Real quick before we look forward, because the next game starts in just 10 minutes. I want to go around and I want each of you to tell me your biggest surprise from the 8 games earlier today that saw Baylor, Memphis, Providence, Michigan, Richmond, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Gonzaga all advanced in the tournament. So, Jay Smooth, why don't we start with you?
I don't want to Jay Smooth myself and stink it up today. Can't do both. But, no, my biggest surprise was definitely Iowa. I mean, I got it right. I called that they were due for a letdown. But, I mean, being that correct on that one was just crazy. I can't believe the Big Ten champ just came in there and couldn't get it done. They had a tough time. That Richmond team took a bid away from someone for a reason. Excited to see how it goes. I know a lot of people probably had some bracket busted action in there, having them go to Elite Eight, Sweet 16s, a lot of them. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they can take a run. Those Spiders are tricky.
Okay, the run they did in the conference tournament was nothing short of ridiculous. But they got it done, and they got it done today. Incredible stuff. Mikey, your biggest surprise of the 8 so far today?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be the Marquette game. And, look, I liked North Carolina. I had a little edge on North Carolina. I did not get a full play down on them because a lot of people that I respect also really liked Marquette. So I ended up staying away. It was close enough. But that game being, 7, 8, 9 points, very realistic, very understandable. A 30-point loss or a 32-point loss for Marquette, absolutely incredible considering the coaching staff with Marquette, the way that they've played at times throughout the season. And this North Carolina team as an 8 seed, they just put on a performance like a 2 seed, right? That's kind of the kind of performance you'd expect out of a number 2 seeded Duke team from the ACC. Yeah, that game was definitely surprising for me. The fact that Marquette wasn't within the same zip code, like that one was very, very surprising.
Yeah, the Shaka Smart experience. It didn't work in Texas. And this is going to be one where they say, maybe VCU is going to be the top thing for him because this is not a good look for a guy that basically they went out and took from Texas. AB, talk to me.
Yeah, something that really nobody's talking about to pay attention to for these games that are about to tip and the games tonight and tomorrow. Take a look at just today. Every single game except 2 have been double-digit wins, right? And Providence won by 9. Like it almost meant the only one was Richmond, getting the upset over Iowa. Like we said, Providence, they won by 9 over South Dakota State. But we have seen blownouts, and we're not talking 16-1s, right? Like we're seeing pretty good teams, that are kind of somewhat close to each other, and we've seen blowouts already. So something to pay attention to for these next round of games and the games tonight and tomorrow as well.
Well, you know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to bet the favorites tonight, and every dog on the board is going to come back. That's the way it happens. That's the way it always happens.
The way it better happen.
All right, so those 8 games are done. 8 more games on tap tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting in about 5 minutes. New Mexico State, the 12 seed in the West, taking on UConn, the 5 seed. It's -6.5 the total at -132. The winner will face Arkansas or Vermont. The gem was on UConn on the money line. Mikey, let me come to you. Your thoughts. If everything plays out the way it's been going, this should be a UConn blowout. By the way, Micah is on the under. I think it'll be a very slow, very low-scoring game today.
Yep, this is the closest game to a play that I had. Obviously, I wanted to challenge Jay Smooth on the showdown. That one was close as well. But I make UConn up over 10-point favorites in this one. A lot of people do not agree. A lot of people like this New Mexico State team. I like the UConn team. I don't think they're that overrated in this spot. So I'm leaning that way. I'm electing to wait to play it live. We've seen some of these teams with some slow starts in the first few minutes of the game. That number at 6.5, we've talked about it a few times on live streams, but if you're not comfortable getting it early and you're okay with just missing the play if they come out and crush, I would wait. just because the game can tighten up, and there's a huge difference from playing 4.5 to 6.5. Anytime you get it under the 2 full possessions, it makes a huge difference in the end of these games. So I like it. If you're not someone who wants to wait around and doesn't want the opportunity to miss it, I think it's okay to grab it at 6.5. Personally, I'm going to wait it out, try to get 4.5 in the first half, and make sure that my win here at the end of the game, I only need 1.5 to 2 possessions.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Jay Smooth, Zach Attack is on Connecticut -6.5, but Micah, he's on New Mexico State plus the 6.5.
Ooh.
Which way are you leaning tonight?
I think I'm probably going to be leaning the points. I mean, I know I probably sound like a broken record just taking them over and over and over again, but let me tell you why I'm thinking that way. We just saw that Iowa matchup show that these teams in the middle are not separated by that much. We've heard a lot about the 6-11 matchup over the last couple of years being one where the 11 has started to really have a good shot. It's pretty close to 50-50, if not maybe in the way of the 11 now over the last few years. And I think that's going to seep into this 5-12 matchup a little bit over this tournament, the next couple tournaments. The field is just getting stronger. So yeah, I think New Mexico State might show up and surprise some people. Again, that 6.5 point line, like Mike said, over 2 possessions is a big deal. So I'm not going to go make it official, but that's definitely the way I lean. I think dogs are going to have to find their way at some point.
What about the total, AB? Because Kenny White's on the under, Mike is on the under. This feels like an under. And when you look at some of the scores from earlier today, Baylor scored 85, and they didn't get to the over. North Carolina did. Tennessee scored 88. I don't know what the over was. That had to have hit. But
It was around 133.
Okay, Tennessee was 133.
Yeah.
All right, so they covered that. But this UConn, they play slow, and New Mexico State plays slow. They're both good on defense. I kind of like this under at 132 or 131, depending on what you have it at.
Yeah, I don't hate it either, right? Like, exactly for what you just said, right? Like both teams can play defense, and you look at Teddy Allen for New Mexico State. Like, yeah, he could put up points, but UConn, they could shut him down, right? Like not completely, but they could put the defense on him. And UConn, say whatever you want, like they show up in conference tournaments and they show up in NCAA tournaments, right? Like they are built to do it. They're well coached. So yeah, I like the under on that one. Now here's a crazy stat for you. All right, New Mexico State, got to give them credit. They've made 8 of the past 10 NCAA tournaments. Okay. Here's what for you. Their last 11 games in the NCAA tournament, 0-11. All right. 0-11. These cats haven't won a game in forever since Jay Smooth was in elementary school. They haven't won. Look, I think if I were to take anything, and I don't have anything on the game, I'm with you. I like the under, and I think I would roll with UConn at that number. So, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to play the under just because I'm scared to death of this run of favorites covering. And I know it's going to end at some point, and I would just assume. But the way I've been picking games lately, I mean, I've been so bad.
Well,
I'll coach.
Can't be much worse than how I've been today, dude. So
going off what you were saying in regards to Tennessee, like putting up would you 85?
88,
right?
Yeah,
88. They were legitimately unconscious from 3. They missed their first couple, and then it was over. Like, I mean, they were shooting from another region and hitting shots, right? So I'm with you on the under. Like, it takes so much to hit overs in these first games. So yeah, I think it's a smart play, man. I'm with you.
By the way, that might be the sexiest second round matchup already set, because I was on several radio interviews that CBS booked for me the last couple of days, and I talked a lot about Michigan, that if they could get back in their groove, this is a team that has 11th seed, could do some damage and surprise some people. Colorado State, Michigan looked like the 6th seed in the second half, and they reversed it after the first half. All right, let's move on to game number 2, 7:10 Eastern time. Jay Smooth, I'm going to start with you. St. Peter's, the 15th seed in the East. Kentucky, the 2 seed. 18 big points is the spread here. And I'm going to go, the total is at 132. So on SportsLine, St. Peter's, Maestro's on them, Mike is on them, and Kenny White is on the under 132.5. We cashed with St. Peter's a lot in the last month. Now, they weren't playing Kentucky, but we cashed with them a lot. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, most of those experts are on them because of how potent the St. Peter's defense really is and has shown to be. And what that really means is that this game could get slowed down. They could make Kentucky maybe think a little bit more about the shots they take. And once those possessions get elongated, you get more value on those points, right? If the game has a lower score than Vegas expects, you're going to get a bigger sort of bang for your buck from those 17, 18 points that you're able to get out there. I definitely agree with the take. I think it's a sharp way to play it. The public's going to want the big Kentucky name, right? Everybody loves UK. Everybody loves some of the players on this team. Coach Cal has a great reputation. It's like fading the Yankees day in and day out. Sometimes you just want to fade the big names. I love these plays from Maestro. I think it's a sharp one. I'd probably tail it myself.
All right, Mikey, by the way, UConn at SportsLine is a graded A play. It has them winning by 14. Let's get back to St. Peter's. The SportsLine model, Mikey, has this game right at 18. He has Kentucky 77 and St. Peter's 59. Where do you lean on? I think you said you lean St. Pete if you had to.
Yeah. So in my simulation, which it's close to SportsLine's a little bit different how we do things, but it's 16.5 is where I have the number. And I have the total at 132.5 in my simulation here. So I would lean towards St. Peter's, and it's mostly for the reason that there's no incentive for Kentucky in the final 2:30 of the game, assuming that they're up anywhere from 15 to 25 points. There's not a lot of incentive to keep playing at that point. There is a lot of incentive. You see it all the time, frankly, in these early round matchups. The other side, there are going to be kids that get on the floor in that final 2 minutes of the game when they're down 15 to 20 that will absolutely be chucking. It's the only time in their life that they will ever get to be in a moment that big. And it's no disrespect to them at all. It's a great accomplishment to even be on the floor on one of these rosters, right? But the reality is it's their moment to get on the floor. It's their moment to be aggressive offensively. We see it quite frequently. So these are the spots that I personally stay away. Like I said, I've got it 16.5. It's not a big enough edge to feel comfortable against Kentucky in this kind of spot, especially a spot where it's basically a home game for Kentucky in that spot. So I'm staying away from it. If you force me to play it, I would take the points, but there's no reason, in my opinion, to take the points right away, because there's a really good chance they're going to be up by 20 and you're going to be able to grab a 26, 27 point line on this live. And if not, it never gets there. You have another game to go bet. That is personally how I would play it.
Okay. AB, your thoughts, big boy?
Yep. So you look at St. Peter's. All right, their last 7 games, they're 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread, and I'll tell you why. Defensively, they are the 5th best team in the country at holding the opposing team to field goal percentage around 38%. They are phenomenal. They play good defense, and Kentucky can struggle to score. But think about this, though. Kentucky with this team, all right, with this roster, it's not that one-and-done Kentucky team that you think of, right? Like, this team is built juniors and above in terms of who gets minutes for this team. So they actually do have, tournament experience, and they're not just all 18-year-old kids out there running around, right? So it's a tough one. I think if I had to lean any way, it would be in the under in this game because, like Mike said, he's obviously more brilliant than I am in regards to this, and I'll ever be. But that's the way to play it, is that live play. But if you're looking for something for the game, the under is probably it.
And that's why I've been getting my ass kicked lately, is because I don't make the smart play. When you're on tilt, you make the play and you sit and watch the game instead of really thinking it through like how Mikey just described it, because I don't want to sit there and wait till it's a 20-point game. But that's why I'm getting crushed right now. All right, let's move on to game number 3 tonight. Indiana and St. Mary's. Now, Indiana, some would say, has the advantage here. They got to play on Tuesday. They got to feel the pressure. They got to play in Dayton, which is an incredible atmosphere for these first 4 playing games. All 4 favorites won, all 4 favorites covered. So now, just 2 days later, but that's perfect for a college basketball team. They're going to take on St. Mary's, a team, guys, that beat Gonzaga this year, and they come in as a 5 seed, which for them is hot. Chip is on Indiana. The Jim is on St. Mary's. Mike is on St. Mary's. Zach is on St. Mary's. The winner plays UCLA and or Akron. Mikey, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one is super, super interesting. So I don't have enough of an edge to get there. I do like St. Mary's to win the game still. It's minus 3.3, but I think the line is still 3 on the game where it's at now. And assuming that's the case, it's not enough of an edge to bet. But what I think is interesting about it is you start to wonder, is Indiana going to run out of steam playing so many games after that massive run in the Big Ten tournament? Then they had this game, then the travel, playing again. The only thing I will say against that, this is the kind of matchup where it's not going to impact the tired legs quite as much. They're not running up and down the floor quite as much. St. Mary's loves to play with a very slow pace. When you play with a very slow pace, you're in this kind of spot, you're basically guaranteeing you're going to have a slower, grinded out competitive basketball game. And I do like Indiana's ability right now to stay in and win these competitive games. So I can't get to it here, but this is a classic one where I think that if you're someone who likes to live bet like I do, I almost guarantee you I'm going to end up with plus 130 on both sides of the game and cash either way, right? I think that there's almost a lock scenario here that it's going to be a back and forth game enough that you're going to be able to pick off the plus 130 or more on the money line on both sides of the game during the game. But yeah, it's too close to call for me pregame because I have it at 3.3 and it's just not an edge really.
All right, for those people who right now are scratching your head going, what's he talking about? Bet on both teams and win. If you bet $100 on both teams, you're going to win $30 no matter what at plus 130. So you're going to cover that bet. So it's going to win $30. It's automatic money.
So like pregame, they're Indiana's plus 120 right now. You might find plus 125 by tip if it goes back to -3. You could start there essentially, and anytime Indiana is going to be up by 4 in the game, 4 to 7 points in the game, they'll be plus 130 on the other side pretty quickly.
Wow, really, really smart. Jay Smooth, are you a big live gambler or better, or do you like to do yours before the game?
I do a little bit of the live stuff. We were talking about it on the first watch party. We talked about that Providence over getting down a little lower. We were able to maybe snag it around 121. Game finished 123. I do like it. I think there's very interesting scenarios as you watch the pace of the game, thinking about how teams usually regress to their norm. If teams are hitting maybe too many baskets, or you feel like they're just not connecting on good looks, you sort of maybe play the other way. If it's a too slower than expected, you take the over and you expect it to climb back to it. That usually works out because teams do end up coming in about what they're projected by these models, like what Mike has built that can hit these things so on the head. So yeah, I do like it, especially when there's like a big run, like Mike's saying, sort of like when he's going to go look to take St. Mary's, when Indiana makes a big run, like that's the same idea, right? Just sort of going against what maybe doesn't feel like it should be happening. So if one team takes a big lead, getting a nice number on the other team and expecting them to come back and reciprocate that run is usually a decent strategy live.
All right. So the strategy right now that we've discussed is possibly betting the money line on both sides. But AB, there's going to be a lot of people that just want to bet the money line on St. Mary's and not do the points. Now, we have one capper at SportsLine. We all know who it is that loves to lay like minus 270. We don't do that on this show. We don't do that on this show. However, right now they're minus 150 to just win the game on the money line. Your thoughts on the St. Mary's money line?
Yeah, so I'm with you guys. Like, I think St. Mary's wins this game, right? Like, I think that they're a better team in what Mike spoke about in regards to the Big Ten tournament and playing, a first 4 game for Indiana and getting to here. Like, it could wear you out. And think about this, too. Indiana is the number 1 team in the Big Ten in defensive efficiency. I still can't say it. St. Mary's is the number 1 team in their division in defensive efficiency. I got to slow it down. So you're looking at 2 teams that can really, really play defense. And you think there's a lot of times to where, like you could get a little bit of rest. It's almost like a rest hold in wrestling, so to say. But other times when somebody, excuse my language, is on your ass playing defense, like it's tough. It'll wear you out, man. So this game could get wild. I like St. Mary's to win. I like the under in this game. I think we see really low scoring. And that's, quite frankly, exactly how St. Mary's has won so many games this season.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a couple of games this year the model had the over. And for some reason, again, I played it, and it was like watching a tooth being extracted, begging for points for this team to score. And I was like, I will never do this again, ever, 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 ever. All right, game number 4. And Jay Smooth, I'm starting with you because we got a little showdown. We got a little showdown at 7:27 Eastern time tonight on True TV. We all work for CBS, and I love the tournament being spread out. But True TV, I can't get it on my game. I got to have it on one of my computers. Whoever decided on True TV? TBS, you get in a hotel. TNT, you get in a hotel. CBS, but True TV? True TV? All right, anyway. Creighton's the number 9 seed. San Diego State is the number 8 seed, obviously, in the Midwest Division. 2.5 is the number. The total on 121. The winner will face the winner of Kansas, the number 1 seed in this region, and Texas Southern, All right, Jay Smooth, explain yourself. You're riding with Creighton, and you are the only one riding with Creighton.
I am.
Well,
honestly.
sorry, Chip is.
Okay.
And Tom
All right,
Fornelli is. Sorry. Oh, and you are. So you've got buddies now. You got friends.
I do have some friends
SportsLine.
on this one. I do have some friends. So me, Tom, and Chip are gonna, hopefully be able to take down Mike here. It's I need it. I definitely need it today. But I'll tell you why I like this team, and it's gotten some support today. My reasoning behind the pick when I did make it was that I wanted to fade the Mountain West against the Big East. I like this Big East team. They are consistently the Big East Conference. They're consistently rated better than teams out of the Mountain West. And with what we've seen today, with, again, like we talked about with Colorado State and Boise and Wyoming, all sort of getting bounced a little earlier than expected, starting to get some questions about this Mountain West, right? Are these defenses that good, or are their offenses maybe just not up to snuff? And so they're all playing against weakened offenses and they all look like good defenses. Well, I think we're going to find out with this Creighton team, because they do have a bona fide defense. They did make a nice run to the final of the Big East tournament. They lost to Villanova, which there is obviously no shame in. That is a great postseason program. I like Creighton to come out and maybe have a little momentum behind them, because they did make that run.
M squared, when you talk about San Diego State, a lot of people probably haven't even seen them play this year, even one time, because most of the time they're playing at 10 o'clock Eastern or later. Why are you so bullish on this team tonight over Creighton?
There's one thing we like, and we like to watch AB try to say it, and that's defensive efficiency. This San Diego State team rates number 3 in the country in terms of defensive efficiency. These are the kind of games that they like to play. They are 300th in terms of pace of play. Creighton does not want to push the pace too much either. It's going to be a very neutral game on that front. It's essentially first team to 60 wins this basketball game. And I'm going to lean on the defensive efficiency here. Look, the Creighton team, they're fine. They rate 90th in offensive efficiency. San Diego State 126th. The Creighton team just feels a lot like a little bit of a fake sharp team. Like you need a great shooting night from them, which can obviously happen. They're more than capable of doing it. But where you typically see them doing that is against teams that are very similar to them, not against the third best team defensively in the country. So I'm going to ride with the defense here. I think San Diego State does a good enough job getting to the foul line too, which should at least keep them in the game at all points of the game. So I like it. Again, it's -2 in the market. I think it should be up over the full possession. I think the number should be closer to -4.
All right. Very good. All right. Quick live update.
Coach, can I get a word in on that one? Because we got a little showdown. I just have a little rebuttal because, we're kind of picking these numbers out, Mike, but Creighton's still top 20 in those same defensive metrics and have a better rated offense. So it's not like we're talking about some terrible Creighton defense. And if the San Diego State efficiency metrics come from playing in that Mountain West, I don't really trust it, because that Mountain West looks terrible. So if their defensive efficiency is based off of those terrible teams that all already lost, I'm let's go Creighton, man. Let's
hey, Jay Smooth, it's funny you use the word terrible. Normally, when I lose 5 in a row on the early show, I shut up until I win the next one.
No, we're coming out hot.
You're coming out hot. You're coming out firing. Which is something that New Mexico State and UConn are not doing in their start of their game. 3 minutes in, 2 points so far for New Mexico State, and that is it. I would watch this game all night. This is the only thing I bet is the under here. 132, I think, is what I got it. But I'll take 10-10 at halftime all day. So right now it's 2-0. About 3.5 minutes into the first game, and just like what we expected, very slow, a lot of defense, bad shots, and no points. Okay, let's go to the late games quickly, guys. We're going to be here maybe for another 15, 20 minutes. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll get the first couple of games started, and then, of course, we'll be busy on social media all night, so you can follow us there. Now 2-2, the Huskies finally on the board 4 minutes into this game. All right, AB, I'm going to start with you because you're on Arkansas tonight. They're the 4 seed. Vermont's the number 13 seed. 9:20 Eastern game. It's after this UConn game on TNT. They're laying 4.5. It's now up to 5. The total is 139. Here's where we stand at SportsLine. Kenny White is on Vermont. Timmy Doyle is on Vermont. Jeff Hogman is on Vermont. But Maestro is on Arkansas, and Mike is on Arkansas, and Matty Severance, of course, is on the money line. He'll go ahead and lay -200 plus because that's what he does for every single game. So I can't take that into account. I love Matty Severance, but come on.
Oh, man.
If I bet all these minus 250s, I would just be losing what I'm losing by double. That's what would be happening. AB, talk to me.
Yeah, so I got bad news for Tim Doyle and Jeff Hockman and everybody else because, look, what Arkansas does is come back from losses, win games, and cover games. All right, that's what they do. Their last 14 games, 11-2-1 against the spread, and they've got horses that Vermont hasn't seen this year, and those horses are angry. They are not afraid to put up points. Arkansas, the over is hit in 6 straight games for them, and guess what? Here's the tough part for Vermont. Wonderful states, beautiful out there. You know what? Arkansas ain't shooting threes, Hoss. They're coming right in the glass, and whether you're going to deal with it or not, you don't have any choice. So, yeah, I'm rolling Arkansas. Everybody else that's on Arkansas. It's a low number 2. I got a feeling this is going to be one of those double-digit wins. Give me Arkansas all day.
Are you telling me that in Vermont's conference,
they're not ready?
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit. Right.
You got Arkansas beating Tennessee, beating Kentucky, beating all the I love this. And you're only laying 5 tonight?
And I'll tell you this.
5?
Yeah. Arkansas has 2 different players that, were second most in points, field goal percentages, everything in the SEC. And they got another guy who was almost top 4. Like, this team is good. Do not sleep on Arkansas whatsoever because their fan base travels too. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to Arkansas or not. I have. Lovely place, great people. But they are loud, and they will let you know about it. So, yeah, Arkansas all day.
They will also let you know you need to cross over the county line if you want to get alcohol in most of these counties in Arkansas. We used to hate going there for wrestling shows because all our guys drank, and they have to drive like half an hour just to get alcohol where we're at. So let's go to Little Rock. We don't want to go to Fayetteville. No, let's go to Little Rock. Mike, your thoughts on Arkansas laying the 5? After what I saw earlier today, I'm leaning bullish on Arkansas, only laying 5 points, and because of the competition they have played.
This one is tough. Initially, fortunately, the computer runs and it makes me look a lot smarter than I am a lot of the time. This is one where the computer does not agree. I thought that I was going to get to play Arkansas. I was expecting -6.5, -7 before I even looked at anything. My number on it is 4. It does worry me a little bit. It is a very trendy underdog upset pick. It's tough to forecast it because there's such a contrast in style of play. This Vermont team, one of the teams that likes to pack it in, does not like to play with a ton of pace. Arkansas, the exact opposite. They want to run. They want to play with pace. That is typically a problem for the team that is not as good offensively and defensively. It's so tough to put these teams together because the American East is certainly not the SEC in terms of the competition and where a lot of these ratings are coming from. So I personally have stayed away from it. It's another one of those where I will watch the game live and see what it looks like in the first 5-6 minutes. And I won't be afraid to lay Arkansas -6, -7, even though it is a worse price than it is here. Just because the computer doesn't like it initially doesn't mean I'm just going to totally throw it away and not be interested in the game. But I'm not going to bet it pregame because it doesn't give me any edge. And then, of course, we do see some of our colleagues on SportsLine like it as well. So anytime I see a couple people that I respect on one side and the computer doesn't give me what I want on the other side, I'm going to sit back and watch and look for opportunities in game.
Speaking of the word respect, I'm glad you used that word because I was sitting here enthralled in everything you were saying. AB's over here eating, but still enthralled in everything you're saying. Jay Smooth is over in his little box laughing at you. He was laughing at you, Mikey. Hey, Jay Smooth, why are you laughing at the smartest dude on the panel every day?
I don't know if I was laughing. I wasn't laughing. He was just being funny. He was making some good points, and I agree. I like where I'm just laughing because
trying to figure out how he's going to get money to me since he doesn't have Venmo.
That's true. That's true. No, but I was laughing.
Yeah, if I can go pick up this 200 you owe me from Walmart at 4 a.m.
Yeah, literally, that's how it's going to go down. I got to send you either find the carrier pigeon I had last time, or But no, I think with Mike, just what he's talking about with the model, sort of telling him to stay off a little bit and how it makes him look smarter. Mine doesn't always do that, but No, I think I agree with what he's saying here about the points. I do like this Vermont team because they're a top 60, 75 team. This kind of has a feeling like Richmond to me. A lot of people maybe aren't giving this Vermont squad as much credit as they're due. They blew the number out in their championship. They didn't only blow the team out, they blew the number out, right? So Vegas was still wrong about how dominant they were. I think they could surprise a few people. I understand why the number has come down from 5.5 now to you're seeing 4.5. I love jumping on it at 5, avoiding that hook if you're doing Arkansas for sure. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the night. The way I see it, though, is that Arkansas is either really covering this thing or Vermont's probably winning it. I think we're going to see a continuation of the trend that we saw that the winning team is covering, right? We haven't seen very many underdogs keep it close, cover the number, but lose. I think this is another one of those scenarios. If you're going to take Arkansas, I like laying it. But if you're taking Vermont here and you're going to take those plus points, I'd even start considering that money line along with your spread pick because, again, we've seen the underdogs that play well. They're winning. They're not just covering. So,
M squared, what do you got?
Yeah, I would just say, we hear the phrase a trap game, and we think you hear people talk about like what a book is wanting you to do. I don't buy into that a lot of the time. This is one scenario that I do a little bit, and the only reason I want to point it out is it's a spot where we know Arkansas is a better team offensively and defensively. We know that they play with a better pace. We know that they play a tougher strength of schedule, right? All of those things, based on every other game we've seen, you need to ask yourself why they're not more than 2 full possessions of a favorite, why they're not up to that 2 full possession number, which should be 6, right? That, like with everything that you see here, that is where they should be, right? They should be winning a game by 2 full possessions in that spot. The fact that they're not, it's at 4.5. My computer basically agrees with that point. It's just, I'm going to watch the game and I'm probably going to kick myself when they win by 15, but I don't feel super comfortable with it. I'd feel weirdly more comfortable if Arkansas was -6 and the expectation was that they were 2 full possessions better.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What do you got, Jay Smith?
Something Mike's talked about a lot earlier before the conference got started, which I think applies here, is where this game is being played. This is going to be in Buffalo, which is not nearly the drive from Burlington, Vermont, that it is for Arkansas fans to get there. I think there could maybe be an expectation that Vermont might have a bit of a crowd behind them tonight, and that can factor into neutral site games pretty big. I don't know. It's something to watch for sure.
I think that's a really good point. I think it's a really good point by you. By the way, quick live update. UConn up 6-5. 13 minutes left in the first half. So knock on wood, the under is off to a good start here as well. And it's just a tight game with you. What's that big old smile for, AB?
6-5. Like you were it makes me laugh. Like you were just literally talking about playing the under in this game. And then, I mean, it's just playing out exactly how you laid it out.
It's down to -120.5. You've got about 10 points on your original number, 11 points on the original number.
And I still don't feel good about it. I'll be honest with you. I don't feel good about it. This will go to 5 overtimes. Like anybody that's on the Rutgers under, You know what? So this happened to me today on Instagram. Swear to God, a guy sent me a DM. I get a million of them. He's like, "You're idiots. They picked Rutgers and Colorado State. What'd you get them off the street?" And I had to think for a second because I was in the middle doing golf. Didn't Rutgers go to triple overtime as a pick'em? And you want to crack all my guys for taking Rutgers? And they went to triple overtime? Oh, my gosh. Some people. All right, we got 3 more games to get to as the UConn game now is under 13 minutes to play. It is still 6-5 there. All right, this next game, guys, a lot of people was talking about it when the brackets came out on Sunday night that this could be the most competitive first-round game of all of them. We'll have to wait and see. But Murray State is a 7 seed. San Francisco is a 10 seed. Murray State's laying just a small number 2. Total is 137. The winner will face the winner of the Kentucky St. Peter's game. Here's where we stand with our experts at SportsLine. Tommy, take the bass out of your voice for Nelly. He's on San Francisco. Chip is on Murray State. Jeff Hockman is on Murray State. Zach is on Murray State. Matt Severance is on Murray State. Maestro is on Murray State. So everybody's on Murray State except for Tom Fornelli. Mikey, are we overestimating how good this Murray State Racer team is?
Yes. I like San Francisco in the game. I've talked about it a little bit. There's been injury news. Very interesting late line movement here, by the way. We saw this one up to 3 already. it is getting steamed back pretty hard in favor of San Francisco. It's back down to 1.5 and looking like it's going to close at 1 for them. So over the last few days on the early edge, we've talked about some of the storylines. Like, this is one of the biggest trendy upset picks, if you will call it an upset, now that they're favored, though. Murray State, over 70% of people backing Murray State on the money line. It was only implied about 56% at the time. So it's a pretty large gap between where the market has it and where everybody else is at on it. My number, let me give you the exact number here if I can find it. I have San Francisco favored by 3 points. It's about a 5-point edge in this game.
Wow. Okay.
So I like San Francisco in this game.
The SportsLine model has San Francisco on the money line as an A play. So they agree with you, Mikey. They agree with you. AB, let me come to you, and then Jay Smooth, of course, I'm going to come to you. This is such a tight game, and so many people have different opinions, AB, because Murray State, at times this year, they look terrific. Then there's other times they just forgot how to score, and then San Francisco, much like San Diego State, much like these other West Coast teams, a lot of people have not seen them play. When you think about San Francisco, you don't think about a basketball juggernaut since the 70s. But this team, St. Mary's, Gonzaga, they're starting to put up really good teams out west, San Francisco. This might be a coming out party for them tonight.
Oh, big time. I mean, this is a real basketball team. They are good, and they're fun and exciting. Look, this is one of those games, whatever side you bet, understand that you're going to get two really, really good basketball teams that can score, that can play. It's just going to be a great game. If you lose the bet, don't sweat it too much. Move on to the next one. Like, this is going to be just a great, tight game. This is what March Madness is all about. But what you said and what Mike said to this, Murray State, they've won 20 straight games. 20, right? They've won 20. However, they don't cover. This team doesn't cover games. And you look at San Francisco, cover. Like, San Francisco handles their business. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. All right, they're 7-2 in true road games this year. Like, they are not afraid to turn their rings around and play with anybody in the country, right? So I'm with you, man. I'm with Mike. Like, Murray State's a really good team. San Francisco's a really good team. Yeah, if I had to make a pick on it, San Francisco to cover, but this is just going to be a great game. Don't kick yourself if you're on the wrong side. It's just going to be an awesome basketball game.
I think, Jay Smooth, for a lot of people, when you look at the brackets, this is where you win your brackets. You know, a lot of people are going to have Gonzaga, Arizona, the usual suspects. These 1 and 2 points you get in the first round, that's where you can make a difference, right? So a lot of people don't have either one of these teams going past Kentucky. But this 1 point could help you win your bracket. Where do you fall?
Definitely can help you, especially if one of those big names does win and people have kind of like a chalky finish, right? Then these little points in the beginning really come into play. When this line opened, interestingly enough, it opened at Murray State plus 1.5. So this has now come all the way over. Mike said there's been some buyback. You were able to get all the way for San Fran plus 3. I like getting the plus points on either side of this game. I just have it as a tight game. I think San Fran, one of the best mid-majors in the country, is definitely here to put up a fight. And again, these racers, they have been beating people, but this is a whole new game. This is what they've kind of been battling for. They cruised to their championship in their conference, but now this is like a big deal. This is what they've been waiting for all season. I think the pressure could get to them. San Fran does know how to play good ball. Like you said, maybe a little bit less exposure because of being on that West Coast, playing those late games definitely comes into it's definitely a factor here. But yeah, I think just taking the points on this one, you know, Mike talks about both teams having a chance to be plus money during the game. This is another one of those great scenarios where you can take the plus money on San Francisco, wait till they make a run, take the plus money against them, and then just cash. Either way, sit back, enjoy the game, and go to sleep happy. So that's probably what I'll do.
I do have a question because a lot of people send me tweets and they ask this question. Hey, Coach, the game goes to the commercial, and then I try to bet it live, and it's already locked it up. What's the best platform, Mikey, or is it to watch on the iPad? Is it to watch on TV? Because there's a lag, of course, to be able to get that bet in.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lag. It's uncomfortable, but the best way to do it is to not actually care as much about watching the game itself. You can watch the game and have an idea of how the game is going, but have the live sportsbook here and have the live play-by-play feed up at the same time, which will update before you see it happen on the screen. that's when you can start to, because you can understand, okay, you could still get the flow of the game and understand a lot of things, but you still get that information a little quicker, and you have to be comfortable to do it there. But typically, yeah, you're looking at timeouts is basically when you're going to be able to really make positions on the live plays.
All right, real quick, Mikey, can you tell me what the live play is on UConn? The score is now 12-8. Halfway through the first half, we're at the 10-minute mark. So right now they're on pace for 40 points in the first half, and this over was 132. So right now, what
121 and a
what could
half.
go wrong?
122.
Okay.
Yep.
121 and a half. Would you recommend people still play that the way that the game is going at 20 points?
2 fouls on each side. I would probably stay off of it now. When you would want to start to look at a live, like in your spot, you have the under at 132. I would look at an over at like 118 and a half if you could get there. That's where I would look, because you'd have a very good chance of cashing both of those at this point.
Okay.
But what you're looking for now is, how many fouls do we get between now and halftime? Are we going to have any chance of hitting double bonus or even the single bonus late in this half?
I don't think so.
Can add some points at the end, but it doesn't look like it. We're about to hit the under 8 media timeout with only 2 fouls on each side, which is a trend we actually talked about earlier on the first live stream. There's been a severe lack of fouls called in the first half of these games today.
Okay, so right now it's 12-12. We're almost to the 8-minute mark in the first half. So the way this game is going, it is really cool. The only thing that would hurt is the dreaded overtime. We know that's always lurking. It's always lurking out there. Always lurking out there. All right, let's move on. We got 2 more games we got to get to before we get out of here. By the way, the loneliest 2 teams in all of college basketball, boys, Eastern Washington and Fresno State. For some reason, the NIT put them on tonight, and they play at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Fresno, it's a B play, minus 12.5 over Eastern Washington. But the over might be a play. Eastern Washington, they can score. The over's been good for them. But why would the NIT put them on tonight? I have no idea, but it is what it is. All right, next game, 9:50 Eastern time, TBS. Number 13 Akron in the East taking on number 4 UCLA. By the way, everybody thinks this is a Boston hat. It is not. It's a Bruins hat that they sell in black out here in L.A. or in L.A. So 13.5 UCLA. I have UCLA going to the Final Four out of this region. The total is 128. The winner faces St. Mary's and or Indiana. Jay Smooth, why don't we start with you here, pal?
Okay, let's do it. Almost pulled it off there. I haven't Jay Smooth myself in like a month, coach. I'm really learning out here. I'm proud of myself. So close. So it's gonna happen during the tournament. It's gonna happen at some point. I guarantee it. Maybe it's what I need. But no, I think this one's a pretty interesting game. Hold on. I have all my notes here. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Sort of I think I talked about it earlier with Akron being a little under-discussed, if you will. Like nobody's looking at them. Everyone's kind of sleeping. Everyone's like, oh, okay, UCLA is just going to do it again. They made that run last year coming in from the play-in games, right? They made a huge run, one of the stories of the season. But I think it's hard to do that again. And with a big number like this, Akron kind of shocked some people, got in on like a 20-point win in their conference tournament final. So I feel like this might be a good place for some points, but I'd probably watch, maybe see if they start slow and try to get the feel of that one. I don't have an official play on it before the tip.
Okay. Live update as the game has now gone under the 8-minute timeout. They're waiting for the next whistle. New Mexico State 15, UConn 14, 7.5 minutes to play there. Real quick, by the way, under 14 minutes to go in St. Peter's, Kentucky. St. Peter's is ahead 11-10. That game is on CBS. In fact, I'm going to turn my TV over to CBS. I can follow this under on my phone. I don't need to watch this under, but we need to have the okay, let me get to CBS here. All right, great. So it's 11-10 as St. Peter's is doing some work. And we turn it over. Airball, Kentucky. Bong, Kentucky. So St. Peter's has the ball.
St. Peter's, not to interrupt you there, but watching the live feed, it's 15-10.
Do we like Kentucky?
So you're a little bit ahead. So this is nice. All right, St. Peter's up by 5. I am up 3, so we'll keep Mikey's feed going there too. All right. So Timmy Doyle. Every time I say Timmy Doyle's name, because I love him. But what's the movie they go, Doyle ruled? What movie is that?
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. I feel like every time I say Timmy Doyle, Doyle rules. He's on Akron plus the 14. He says this is just way too high of a number. Talk to me, AB.
I'm making this an official play right now. UCLA 13.5. They're going to beat the brakes off of Akron. I'm going to tell you exactly why. There are 351 teams in Division I basketball. Akron is the 351st slowest offensive team in college basketball. They are the slowest, the absolute slowest. And you look at what UCLA can do offensively. I don't have to say anymore. Give me UCLA. They're going to cover this spread. Akron is not going to know what the hell is going on when UCLA is just going up and down the court, because I think right now UCLA could beat the Lakers. So, yeah, give me UCLA. I'll take that with the spread, 100%.
Are you trying to tell me that the late season run and a win over Kent State or Ohio doesn't prepare them for the UCLA Bruins, who I have going to the Final Four? Is that what you're trying to tell me, AB?
Well, I'll tell you this. Akron can play some defense. I'll give them credit. Here's the problem. UCLA can play defense too, and they play better defense than Akron does. Yeah, give me UCLA all day long in this one.
Mikey, it feels like to me that UCLA the last couple of weeks have remembered who they are, that they're the team that dazzled us a year ago and went to the Final Four and ultimately almost won it. I think tonight they wake up again. I'm with AB. I think they're going to show the world and tell the world that Baylor is not the best team in their region. They want the world to think they are, and they could look like it tonight.
Yeah, it's honestly a good first round test for them. I do lean with you guys on the 13.5. I make it up to 15.5. But the reason why I'm going to say I lean with you on the 13.5 is because at 13.5, we're expecting a competitive enough game that even though it's the first round of the tournament, even though they play again Saturday, if they're only up 12-14 in the final minutes of this game, they're not pulling anybody. You're not pulling anybody off the court at that point. You're putting it away. You're finishing the game. And I do think that leads to a comfortable finish on that 13.5 point spread. So again, I make it 15.5. So I definitely lean in that direction with you guys.
Okay. Very, very good. By the way, St. Peter's up 15-14 now. They've gone inside of 12 minutes. UConn and New Mexico State there at the timeout, 16-15 UConn. So a total of 31 points so far in that game that we were on the under. Most of us are on the under, and then UConn in the game. All right, let's get to the final game of the night, the 8th and final game, 9:57 estimated start time on True TV. St. Peter's just scored another bucket. Texas Southern, they won their play-in game earlier this week. They're going to take on the number 1 seed in the Midwest, my Kansas Jayhawks. Now, a lot of people, including our boy Chris Hassel from CBS Sports HQ, as Kentucky ties the game up, he was all over Iowa. He's a Iowa Hawkeyes fan. Oh, nobody's picking Iowa to go to the Final Four. Iowa's the team. They're the sleeper. Well, they're sleeping right now in their hotel room as they're getting ready to go back home tomorrow because they lost to Richmond today. So Kansas, now their side of the bracket, Mikey, starts to open up a little bit. If they can do good things tonight, though, they got to get by Texas Southern. They would play the winner of San Diego State and Creighton.
Yeah, beautiful spot for Kansas. First of all, I have them in the national title game in every bracket, winning several of them. I love Kansas in this spot. It's got the Gonzaga game kind of written all over it. It only from as far as betting against the spread here tonight. It just projects as a spot where they win comfortably, but if they're not up, 35 early in this game and blowing it out, there's not a ton of motivation to keep the foot on the pedal after you're 18, 17 points up in the final 3-4 minutes of the game. So I'm going to stay away from it personally. I still lean with Kansas on it, but the good news is it's round 1 and there are just a ton of games that I don't have to go bet on this one. So that's where I'm at on it. I think that the backdoor cover is definitely open, but just such a wide range of outcomes. I'd need about an 8-point edge in the model to even consider it, just because it's such a wild card game when it comes to covering that number.
Yeah, the number's 21.5. 145.5 is the total. I would lean towards the under, to be honest, a little bit. Jay Smooth, your thoughts on what Mikey just said with such a big, robust number in the first round?
I want those points just by default. I'm still kind of kicking myself for not just taking that default against Gonzaga the one time. I mean, we've seen how bad the Dogs do, but I'm not really going to sit here and buy into it like, oh man, Dogs are done for the whole tournament. They're going to have their time to shine. And I think this is a real spot for them because this Texas Southern team beat Florida this year on a similar line, plus 23.5. They beat Florida. That's not just me messing it up. You can go look at it. It was in December. That's a good team. That's a good team to go ahead and beat. No. I mean, I got
questioning yourself. Looking at a computer and he didn't see the little N for North Florida in front of it.
No. It's the Gators, Mike. It's the Gators. They really went out there and they did it. They were plus 1650 on the money line. They got it done. I think this team could surprise you. I think 22.5 is a little big. We're seeing right now Kentucky struggling. We saw even Gonzaga come out and struggle against some of these teams that maybe shouldn't have been 16s. I don't know. Texas Southern has the type of vibe for me with some of the games they played in their non-conference schedule. I think they might be a little bit more up for the task than people expect. That's the way I lean for sure.
All right, real quick, live update. You may want to hold your ears, Jay Smooth. San Diego started the game on a 12-0 run over the Creighton Blue Jays. I'm kidding. I'm actually kidding. I just want to see.
I'm watching it. I'm like, wait, did I miss something right here? It's on in front of me. I'm just like, oh my God, what did I miss?
No. It's 5-4 early on, just 17.5 minutes to go. They just got started. And St. Mary's is up 2-0 in their game. Just getting started. That game is on TBS. So all four of the early evening games are on the court. By the way, New Mexico State 20, UConn 19. So they're at 39, about 5 minutes to go in the game. AB, talk to me.
Yeah, I don't mean to derail from college basketball.
You're going to derail it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Devontae Adams was just traded to the Raiders.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now, on the surface, that doesn't surprise me because they offered $30 million a year. He turned that down, which is crazy to me. They were going to franchise tag, which would have made him $20 million a year. Of course, he wasn't going to play on that. But the $30 million a year, I don't know what the guaranteed money was, but as a wide receiver, that would be the highest contract per year of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time. Yeah. He's not a quarterback. Why does he think he deserves more than $30 million a year?
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt with that.
No. Yeah. That's worth interrupting for.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Okay. All right. I think that's it. So all four games are going. You've got your picks on all four games at home. Follow all of my guys on social media. Tomorrow, our morning show is going to be moved to about 11 a.m., maybe 11:02. As I'll be doing golf, coming from there, doing the show, and then going back to golf. So just hang with us. It'll be around 11 a.m. Right on the dot. And then we'll have two more watch parties tomorrow. 1 p.m. AB will host. And then again tomorrow night around 6:30 p.m. time. The same thing we did tonight, we'll do tomorrow night for the final 8 games of the first round. And we're going to be here for you every single day. We're going to break down every single game throughout the tournament so that you don't go in. We may not win every game, but you'll have the information that you need to make the decision and make the bet that you want. Let's go around. Final thoughts, guys, on what you're most looking forward to tonight. Mikey, start us off.
Looking forward to taking some J Smooth money in the San Diego State Creighton game. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this Connecticut game. Connecticut, New Mexico State. Connecticut's been absolutely abused on the board so far. They've definitely got to figure that out if they want to win. Otherwise, they're definitely on upset alert here. And then San Francisco, Murray State just has a lot of implications for everyone's brackets. And I think that one's going to be fantastic.
Okay. Jay Smooth.
Man, we have such a treat tonight. All these games are exciting, especially when you look at them with the spreads. I think something that definitely needs to be said is continue to bet within your means here. I can go 0-5 and I can still have a great time watching these games because I bet a responsible unit. I don't kill myself. These bets to AB are kind of hurting. I'm not going to lie. But look, just play it safe, get some good bets and enjoy the games. Enjoy the games. This is awesome. These games have been so competitive, so much fun. I'm having a great time. It's like a holiday for me. I can't wait to be back for the live shows tomorrow as well.
All right, awesome. AB, talk to me.
Yep, I look forward to a $200 payment from Jay Smooth at any moment. Looking forward to that. Also, I'm going to leave you with this, and in regards to your brackets, okay? Your bracket isn't busted if everyone's bracket is busted. Remember that. Stay positive.
I think to win a bracket, you obviously have to have the teams that lose in the first round, you have got to have them getting bounced in the second round. You can't give up 2 of those games like that. So that's why the Iowa losing doesn't really hurt me or maybe anybody else, because a lot of people had them going far. So you're giving up 2 or 3, but everybody's giving up those 2 or 3. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, quickly, let's update before we get out here. New Mexico State, 22-20, 3:40 to go in the first half. St. Peter's up or tied 22-22, 8 minutes to go. Indiana up 7-6, 16 minutes to go. And Creighton, the Creighton Blue Jays, they've got a lead, an early lead over San Diego State, 8-7. They're in their first time out. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. There's only one thing left to do, and you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the Jay Smooth AB. Everybody, enjoy the games tonight, and we'll see you live tomorrow morning. And don't forget, you can check me out on PGA Tour Live as well. It wouldn't offend me. We'll got Justin Thomas, 500 in his first round. We got him live first thing in the morning at 8:10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+. That's going to do it. Tell all your friends there's only one sports betting brand you even need to worry about. Powered by the almighty SportsLine. We like to call it the Early Edge. Good luck.